Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. A real quick shout out to all the Vibers who stick with me every day. Without you guys, I would just be talking to a computer screen all day. And sorry about Discord, my son. Anyway, this guy has an excuse for his multiple crimes. But just because he has an excuse for him, does that make it okay? Is the judge going to think it's okay? Is this judge, Judge Eric, that you can only see here and he's so freaking good, is he going to think it's okay?
'24 CR 4918, People versus Abbott. Intrusion.
Blalzi's for Dan Cohen on behalf of the people.
Mason McCall with the Public Defender's Office on the behalf of Mr. Abbott, who's in custody to my left.
All right, we're set for sentencing today. I reviewed the pre-sentence investigation report dated July 3rd. Any additions or corrections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Prosecution?
Not from the people.
Mr. Aziz?
Your Honor, this is Mr. Cohen's case, but I'm reading from notes. There is we are in VRA compliance. The victim indicated that they did not want to speak or be present. The defendant pleaded to an F3 burglary of a dwelling. There's no aggravation or enhancement, so we're looking at a 4 to 12 year range in the Department of Corrections. The 2 prior felony rule applies. Mr. Cohen's notes indicate that the defendant told probation that he was in a manic state, which led to an argument that shouldn't have happened, but this was more than an argument. He broke into the victim's home, and when the victim tried to get him out, he became incredibly threatening to the victim and their daughter. While this is clearly a mental health and addiction issue, there are 8 prior felony convictions on the defendant's record and multiple burglary convictions. So the only legal option here is Department of Corrections in some form. And based on the history of facts, we are asking for 12 years in the Department of Corrections. There is no restitution request.
Defense?
Your Honor, as the PSI indicates, Mr. Abbott suffers from bipolar. He was going through a severe manic state at that time. There was agreement, disagreement as to whether or not he was supposed to be in the residence. His stuff was in there. However, the resident of the location indicated that he was not supposed to be there. Mr. Abbott now realizes
Why is there a broken window to enter then?
Well, Your Honor, so Mr. Abbott, during this manic period, due to the mental state that he was in, believed that, Your Honor. However, that's what I'm saying is that because of his mental state, he became confused, and now we're sitting here today in front of you. What we're asking for is the minimum of the DOC sentence. This was a period of mental health. Your Honor, he understands what he did was wrong. He admitted on the PSI that it was. He's taken accountability.
This one was a period of mental health. Listen, the other 9 burglaries, they were burglaries, but this one was a period of mental health, and he thought he was allowed to be there, even though he broke in through the window.
He's willing to pay for restitution. Understanding the facts of the case, Mr. Abbott, I don't think deserves 12 years in DOC. This was clearly a state of mental health where Mr. Abbott just lost control. He realizes he needs treatment. He realizes that he needs.
Other than you saying that, everything I have just indicate there's an argument over whether or not he's even supposed to be there. And look, a lot of times when we're not talking about someone's 9th felony conviction, their 4th felony conviction for burglary, it's a lot easier just to take a representation that this is a mental health issue. This just feels more like this is what he does. This is his 4th felony conviction for burglary.
I understand that, Your Honor. Well, what I'm saying is that mental health does not stop on a given date. Mental health is a lifelong issue that Mr. Abbott has to come to terms with and get treatment. Unfortunately, from my understanding, Mr. Abbott in the case, whenever he's off treatment, off his medications, he goes into these manic states, and this is where he ends up. Obviously, the DOC sentence is sitting in front of us today. We're not asking for anything less than that. The agreement is to DOC. All I'm asking is that the court sees that this is not just Mr. Abbott, but the reality of mental health is for him in these manic periods. And unfortunately, we're here again today on another charge, as you've indicated. but I don't think 12 years is appropriate in this case.
Sir, you have the right to tell me anything you'd like me to know before I sentence.
No, Your Honor. No.
Okay, now I don't know if you remember before, we had questions about this judge because he said, you know, people with families can go on vacation. So we were wondering, okay, I was wondering with you, he doesn't have a family, he doesn't have a wife, he doesn't have kids. We're about to learn something about this judge. Hi, Eric.
Well, it does present an interesting, difficult scenario. I don't know if you were having a mental health issue that night or not. I'm told you were, but I have no evidence to indicate that you were. But what I also pick up is when you are off your meds, that's a choice you make. And trust me, more than most, I understand the difficulties of getting someone with mental health issues to stay on their meds. I deal with this with a family member. So I, more than most, live, understand, and sympathize with the difficulties of staying on meds when you've got mental health issues. But as I sit here now as a judge, not as a father, it's
As
always
a
a question.
judge, not a father. So yeah, he has kids. I don't know if he's married. He has kids, and one of them has issues staying on their meds.
How much can I ask society to bear of your decision to go off your meds? That's the question. You know, and here we are again on the 9th felony conviction, the 4th for a burglary. And yeah, you're the one who has to pay that price, not society. On the spectrum of what constitutes a burglary, I don't disagree with your attorney that this one, your criminal history screams maximum. But I really try not to put a lot of stock in criminal history, and I really try to put more stock in what did you actually do. And although I can't completely ignore it, I'm not going to use your criminal history to max you out. That being said, 4 years is not appropriate either. You've been getting 1 year, 2 year, 3 year sentences throughout the course of your 9 felony convictions, and that's not doing anything. And throw in the fact that Colorado does not have truth in sentencing. So I will sentence you to 8 years in the Department of Corrections. You'll end up doing it.
What he means by that, real quick, Colorado does not have truth in sentencing means that the judge is going to say you get 4 years, but then you only do 2 years. So he's giving him 8 years.
A third of that. I very much hope you use this time to get your mental health issues squared away, and you decide, come hell or high water, no matter how you're feeling, you're going to stay on your meds. Because really, look, it's going to be harder and harder not just to max you out on these. It's going to be harder and harder for the DA's office to decide not to file habitual offender accounts on you. So really, I don't know what else to say. You're in control of this. Give you the 332 days of pre-sentence confinement credit. There is a 3-year period of mandatory parole. There is no restitution in this case. So you may have a limited opportunity to appeal this sentence under Colorado Appellate Rule 4. If you're to do that, it has to be filed within 49 days. You have the right to seek a post-conviction reduction in sentence under Rule 35B. That has to be filed within 126 days. Anything else from the prosecution?
Not from the prosecution.
Mr. McCullough?
We don't hear a lot about that. Post-conviction reduction. I'm going to try to get more more of those so we can learn more about them. But 100 and some days you have to file it, and then maybe his 8 years goes down to 6, and then out of those 6 he does 3 or whatever. We'll see. But yeah, that's how the law is, not just how this judge is. So he could have given him 12. He gave him 8, but he was getting 3 or 4 throughout his other burglaries. So they're getting tougher on him. Not as tough as some people want, not as lenient as other people want. But the gold man, the gold man is we trust in the gold man, only the gold man. Guys, thank you so much for coming out this late night for America, early morning if you're across the pond. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you all again really soon. Bye, guys. Thank you.